All right, Denville Community Media here in the Denville Historical Society's beautiful museum here, and we have just finished an amazing haunted ghost walk through Denville, and we learned about the Mad Bat Lady of the Arrowhead, among other lake oddities. Vito Bianco, Jim Harp, and Mr. Peter Zablocki here, and you guys put together a terrific program tonight, and probably 50 or 60 people walked a good mile and a half. And Vito, maybe you can start. Just tell us a little of the background.
Well, again, you know, it was, we love to do this tour, especially on tonight, Friday the 13th, October 13th. And we had a great crowd tonight, you know, a good sized crowd. And they heard, you know, many of our stories about curses, about people being found dead twice. We have a lot of good folklore in Denville, some Native American folklore as well. And an evil spirit that figures into that. So you know, we're happy to share these stories with our crowd, and everybody has a good time.
Absolutely. So it was amazing. The walk up Diamond Spring Road, past Diamond Spring, which has some history as well, and the Valley View Gym. We might think twice when we're at the next basketball game there.
The Valley View story has been reported. Actually, Peter and I both had different articles in Weird New Jersey,
in the same
issue,
yeah.
And the same, I believe it was also the same issue that they did a story on, but there's been several stories done on the grave cemetery that was found during the construction.
Speaking of which,
and this is the final stone, the only known remaining stone of the cemetery, which was known as the Martin Heiler Cemetery. Which was apparently rediscovered during the building of Lakeview School.
And I think we also fixed some misconceptions about what happened in that particular story during our tour, because some people were aware of it, but a lot of people thought that it was like a Native American burial that was, you know, so a lot of people,
right.
when Vito started talking, were like, oh, you know, it's almost like people have heard some aspects of the story. So I think we actually do dispel some and fix some, I guess, wrong perceptions about some of the stories in Denville and try to set them straight.
Yes.
We like to, you know, be as accurate for good or worse, for better or worse. However, the history is the history, and not all history is good, not all is bad. It is what it is.
And we learned that the Morris Canal had some history through Denville as well, right?
It does, yes. Some nice history. So I guess you guys have to come back next year and try to find out about that one. That is one of the stops.
It's a great walk too. It's a really nice chance to get out and stretch your legs.
Jim has really enhanced our talk with our media presentation on here, which is much easier for the group to see than some of my in laminated folders,
Including UFO sightings.
I don't want to
UFOs.
give it all away, but here's just
The
a
Empress of Mexico.
the Empress of Mexico. Find out about her on
Most people would not
There's a tease.
expect the Empress of Mexico to be part of a Denville story, but
She's part of
there
Denville.
she is. Yeah.
Well, there we go. And one of the terrific things you did this year was to dedicate and donate the proceeds to Pink Witches of Denville and their big event on this
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th.
13th.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun-dun-dun.
And you'll have to ask Vito how that started, right?
All right.
Well, tremendous. And we have to urge everybody to come down to the Denville Historical Society, which is amazing. All of the amazing. And was this the famous piano here?
This is the piano, the original piano from the Knuth farm, which was owned by William Ayres at the time. The Ayres, when the Ayres owned the farm back in the 19th century,
Okay.
and it was donated by some of their descendants some years ago. It is what's called a square piano, made largely of rosewood, roughly around 1854 or so.
Absolutely terrible way to design a piano, but they were popular.
Absolutely.
You don't see them now because they were terrible pianos.
Yeah.
By the way, it's called a square piano, but it's rectangle.
Oh,
And of course, this might be the famous piece that was mentioned on the tour, right?
This is again a well-known piece that's been noted in many Denville history books going back to the 50s. A suit of armor that was found in the ground during the construction of the Indian Lake Dam around 1920.
And Indian Lake celebrating its centennial anniversary coming up this coming year, and that'll be a story to be told. All right, gentlemen, so the best time to meet you guys.
Just to the right, I'm sorry to interrupt, but there's seats from the Denville Theater. What's now Sweet Expressions was a great movie theater, and we have 3 of the seats here.
And we have some prominent authors here as well, Vito, with your books about Denville, and Peter, lately some of the fantastic stories, the Denville 13 being one, Denville's Union Hill, all sorts of great things, literature that you guys have brought to light. And Peter, of course, you on the cover of Denville Life this week.
Yeah, so I heard.
Yeah.
I also want to point out, before St. Francis was demolished, one of our, Emma Crowningshield, one of our board members who is a college student, and myself were given unprecedented access to St. Francis so that we could record what was there.
Wow.
And we spent a lot of time together. And we now offer these for sale for $12, and they are available at the museum. And anybody to make a nice Christmas gift for people who want to learn some of the history of St. Francis, going all the way back to the time of the Glovers, built the original building that became St. Francis.
Okay. And tonight's tour made an interesting stop there as well, correct? Yeah, the first time that that's been allowed, right? The St. Francis Cemetery. And a great time to come see you guys is Saturdays, correct?
10 a.m. to 2. Yep, we are here.
10 to 2. And if people have interesting historical artifacts they might want to bring by, or...
Yeah,
We take them.
Yes.
Yep. That's where a lot of this stuff came from. This generous residents. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you see any ghosts...
Call Vito.
Yeah, let us know.
Who are you going to call?
Right here.
Here we are. Yeah.
Gentlemen,
Amigos.
Great.
thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Vito, Jim, Peter, excellent. All right, and come visit the Denville Historical Society.